My name is Jen, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. I work at an elementary school, and we just came off a week with 3 snow days. So my boys and I have had some time to rest and reflect, and I actually got my taxes done too. So we are so glad to be here together. And today we're going to start our practice by reading the essential dharmas of daily practice, and that's on page 11. The mind is originally free from disturbance, but disturbances arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the equanimity of our true nature by letting go of disturbances. The mind is originally free from delusion, but delusions arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the wisdom of our true nature by letting go of delusions. The mind is originally free from wrongdoing, but wrongdoings arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the precepts of our true nature by letting go of wrongdoings. Let us replace disbelief, greed, laziness, and ignorance with belief, zeal, questioning, and dedication. Let us turn resentment into gratitude. Let us turn dependency into self-reliance. Let us turn reluctance to learn into willingness to learn well. Let us turn reluctance to teach into willingness to teach well. Let us turn lack of public spirit into eagerness to serve the good of all. Now, let us offer 4 bows. These can be standing bows, full bows, or chair bows. Please stand behind your mat so you can use it as a knee pad.
With gratitude, I bow to the grace of heaven and earth, honoring the marvelous gift of nature and the universe. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of parents and everyone who has given me life and nurtured me. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of fellow beings, the truth of interconnectedness among all beings. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of laws, which guides us, protects us, and promotes justice.
This morning, we're going to do some warm heart, supple body Qi Gong. Please make yourself comfortable on your mat or chair. This warm heart, supple body was created by Reverend Song, an ordained reverend who's working now at Won Institute Graduate School. It is designed to systematically eliminate tension that can block the flow of energy. These movements help the body's joints move freely for better circulation and are especially helpful as we prepare for sitting meditation. We call this a holistic exercise, which can be very appropriate for all fitness level. However, we all have a different level of flexibility. So listen to your body and accommodate as needed. First, make your seat again super comfortable, settling on your mat or chair. Rock your body. The first movement is called stretch the 4 ways. We're going to go up, down, back, and forth. 4 ways of stretching. So as you feel comfortable with your sitting, gently move your arms upward, and then about 15-degree angle, opening up. And now open up your shoulders, open up your elbows fully, any kinks unblocked, and your fingertips, palms fully opening every part of your shoulders, upper arms, elbows, lower arms, wrist, palms, fingers, fingertips, 15-degree angle, not straight, 15-degree angle. There you go. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. One more. Breathe in, even stretching upward, higher, 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 and relax. Softly drop your arms down. Drop your shoulders, arms, hands, fingers, totally the opposite direction. If you have long arms, you may touch the floor, which is great. And this time, breathe and relax your shoulders downward. Lengthen your arms downward, longer and longer, longer and longer. And then your fingers all the way through. Imagine downward, beneath the earth. Keep growing, growing downward. Your shoulders even lowered, lowered, lowered. Beautiful. And your head is not tilted, but your shoulders going lower, lower, and lower, lower. Even longer downward, and relax now. Without lifting your shoulders at all, move your wings all the way back. Move your wings, your shoulders still lowered. Move your wings all the way, almost feel like touching your wings behind. Gently, your head is tilted up. Wings closer, closer, shoulders lower and lower. Breathe in, hold, 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 and relax. Back to the center. Forward. Your back of hands getting closer, shoulders lowered. And you start to feel your core, arched belly. Swing, and then slower, and this time lower. Even lower. Very good. And now use your either left hand or right hand. I'm going to use this side. Scoop and swing low. Swing low. Okay, this time swing really low. Your back, your torso is really going lower, and your hand move back, lean back, relax. Let upper arm, the other arm swing down. Swing up and down, rest on your lap. And bring the other hand up, up, high. How high? Sky high. Then relax. Beautiful. So now switch to the other hand. Swing low and swing low and swing really slow and lower this time. And that hand arm relax in the back, leaning backward, the other upper arm swing. Swing, feel nice back stretch. Rest your hand on your lap. Bring the other hand from your belly button, bring up. Growing tall, high, high, taller, 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 back fully. Your back is fully stretched. And relax. Wow, you look taller now. You got it? One more? Okay, we're gonna swing low twice, and then the other arm upper twice, and then sky high one time. And if you add a little bit of smile, relaxed face, even more effective. Ready? Breathe in, swing slow and low. That's great. Swing really slow and low and lean backward. Lean back like a relaxed. Swing above. That's good. Swing all the way slow and above. And rest on your lap. Drag the other hand back to your lower abdomen tangent. And sky high, up, up, and up, highest, up, high, all the way end to the sky. Then relax. Wow, looking great. Does your shoulder hurt? The other one. Swing low. This time, extra slow, extra lower. And then lean back. The other arm automatically swing above. Resting on your lap. And the other hand goes up. Breathe, breathe, stretch. Tallest, sky high. Then relax. Vocal Qi Gong, healing, vibrational sound. Utilizing vocalization is a good way to relax our body and mind, especially it helps to go to deeper and fuller breathing for our meditation. Ah sound is the vibrational sound of a heavenly element, upper dungeon, middle dungeon, lower dungeon. So more waking up this upper dungeon. Cross your hands, breathe in and release the sound ah. I hear the sound like ah, but I want to hear you sound like whole body, like it's a gong. Let whole body vibrate. Breathe in. Together. And then the sound of the earth, for vibrational sound from lower abdomen representing the earth. So imagine with your hands, expand your lower abdomen. This sound goes Between heaven and earth, there are trees, animals, and us. The sound of all beings under heaven upon the earth is ah. Open your heart chest, breathe in and go. Now we're going to connect the sound of together. So when you go this part is the but we're not going to make it like this much Instead of doing that, we're going to connect. Cross the hands, breathe in, release. Wow, that sounds really beautiful. One more time, I love to hear that. And breathe in, cross your hands. And release. Now, let us enter our silent meditation. You can still feel the vibrational energy. And then we nicely opened up the channel of breathing through full body stretching and this vocalization Qi Gong. I am grateful for this time and practice. The gift of calm, energy, and presence with myself and with the friends. We bring our awareness to our bodies. Breathing body. Awareness with the breathing. Breathing with the awareness. From head to toe, Release any tension you may notice. Invite your tip of the tongue rest on the roof of your mouth. Together, we pause and rest, connecting with wonderful and beautiful gift of a clear, calm spirit within. We support each other in this practice by releasing thoughts, worries, or any planning mind. Coming back to this present gift, body, breath, and awareness in peace for next 25 minutes.
Yangju, page 4.
The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth.
Prayer for world peace. Grace of heaven and earth, grace of parents, grace of fellow beings, grace of laws. O Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace, may we take refuge in Dharma and be filled with compassion and wisdom. May we transform delusion into wisdom, greed into generosity, resentment into gratitude, discord into harmony, and hatred into compassion. May all nations grow and benefit mutually. May the strong help the weak, and may the weak learn and evolve according to Dharma. May all those who have died from world conflicts and disasters be delivered through all obstacles and be at rest. May there be peace throughout the world, and may all beings enjoy tranquility and happiness, living in their original true nature. This we pray with our whole hearts. Won Omnida. Won Omnida. Kanjori, Kanjori, Wana Omnida. Ne son kil danun kot, ne balkil malunun kot, ne song marachinun kot, ne maun yamanun kot mada urimodu damge. Urimodu damge. Songbu jeju inyani. Dwe ajida. I wish and pray, sincerely and truly, where my hands touch the world, where my feet walk on the earth, where my voice echoes through the hills, and in all realms where my heart and mind reach, that we all together share true affinity for attaining great enlightenment and for helping all living beings.
Sutra chanting, Ilwan Sangbao, page 9. Ilwan Sangbao, Ilwan is the realm of
Samadhi beyond words and speech, the gateway of birth and death, transcending being and non-being, the origin of heaven and earth, parents, fellow beings and laws, the true nature of all Buddhas, enlightened masters, unenlightened people, and sentient beings. Ilwan manifests as both permanence and impermanence, viewed as permanence. Ilwan unfolds into an infinite world that is ever abiding, spontaneous, just as it is viewed as impermanence. Ilwan unfolds into infinite worlds through the cycle of formation, duration, decay, and extinction of the universe, and the birth, aging, illness, and death of all beings, according to how we use our minds and bodies. In the four forms of birth, we transform through the 6 realms of existence, progressing or regressing, with grace arising from harm or harm from grace. Therefore we unawakened beings vow to practice wholeheartedly, modeling ourselves after Ilwan Song, the Dharmakaya Buddha, by cultivating our minds and bodies deeply, knowing human affairs and universal principles thoroughly, and using our minds and bodies skillfully, thus progressing rather than regressing, and receiving grace rather than harm, until we attain a great empowerment of Ilwan and become one with the nature of Ilwan. Longtime temple friend, Kathleen Herr, Wan Herju, is going to share her practice experiences with us in a Dharma talk called The Mirror of Practical Practice. Let us practice deep listening and warmly welcome Kathleen.
Good morning. During this last year, many of our Dharma talks have been focusing on practice. And did you know that in Won Buddhism, there are 11 identified forms to practice? And so this morning, I'd like to share my experience with one of them. But let me give you some background first. About 7 years ago, a handful of us were at the International Stay Program at Won Buddhism in Yongsan, the birthplace of Won Buddhism. And we stayed with seminary students there and lived with them, and the teachers taught us in our own classes. And some people, when I say that, imagine some sort of misty background with chimes ringing and whispering voices. And it was lovely, but it was also one of the most feet on the ground practical months of my entire life. And one thing the teachers kept saying over and over, don't have a theoretical practice. Don't fall into a theoretical practice. What's theoretical practice? What they meant was, don't set a really great aspiration for yourself and then sort of blissfully think that, oh, I had a good intention, I'm a nice person, and things must be going well. Instead, they said, if you want to do mind practice, you need to think like a scientist. You need data. And this data-driven approach goes back to the very beginnings of Won Buddhism. And so to gather data about ourselves, one way to do that is through something we call a mindfulness checklist and mindfulness training. And so in our scriptures, this comes under the category of the Dharma of keeping a daily diary. And our founding teacher explained it this way. The practice of keeping a daily diary has been established for everyone, whether lay or ordained, learned or ignorant, to investigate and record each day the number of times they handled any matter in either a mindful or unmindful way. In the beginning, you are to keep track of the number of times you acted with or without mindfulness, regardless of how things turned out. As your practice deepens, you are to keep track of the number of times the result was beneficial or not. Okay, well, how do we do that? So one way is to take some time and think about your life and think about how you're showing up for yourself or for the world. And then you might choose something, a thought habit or a behavior habit that you either want to really cultivate more of or you want to extinguish. You and the world would be a better place without it. And then you track how often this comes up. Well, how do you track? In Master Sotaesan's time, like 100 years ago, you could keep track on paper, but some people were illiterate and didn't have access to paper. So they carried multicolored beans in their pockets. And if they did mindfulness the way they intended, it would be one color bean. If there was unmindfulness, it would be a different color bean. And at the end of the day, you count your beans. You can still do that version. There's an analog older version, a step up from beans, where you can take a little clicker and go up for mindfulness or unmindfulness, or in modern times, you can use an app or a widget and track throughout the day. So, okay, now you've got this data. What do you do with all that observation? Well, we create a mindfulness tracking sheet. What's that look like? Well, at my house, it looks like an Excel spreadsheet, but you can do it on paper as well. And on the horizontal line, it'll have the days of the week or the month, however long you're doing it. And on the vertical axis, it'll have how many times you are mindful or unmindful in your chosen activity. Now, in case when I said the word spreadsheet, y'all started groaning internally, I have to tell you that I used to do that too. And in fact, I used to hear about this practice and push it away because for me, it sounded like this self-help busyness activity that I didn't really have time for. And besides, I'm a practical person. I don't see myself through rose-colored glasses. I know what I'm doing, so I don't really need this. But when I was in Yongsan, this was one of the practices these teachers were taking time to teach us and encourage us to do. So when I returned to North Carolina, I really felt kind of this grudging obligation to do it. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to choose something that's pretty easy, and then I'll be done with it pretty quick, and then I can say I've done it and I'll feel okay. And so what I chose was being 5 minutes early, because how hard could that be? I had noticed I'd been coming in closer to meeting times or Dharma service, or a little late. I thought, okay, this is not good. This is not helpful to the people around me. It's not creating a calm atmosphere. Okay, so I began. And what turned out was a lot of very ego-driven rabbit holes that I fell into. And I'll just share one of them with you, which was a series of questions I started to ask myself not long after I began. My first question was, well, what does 5 minutes early really mean? Does it mean I'm actually sitting here in the Dharma hall on a cushion or next door in the residence in a chair? Or it's getting to the door, good, because I'm in the building and it's 5 minutes early and no one knows I'm doing this. Reverend Won Gong doesn't know. Nobody knows. If I'm 4.5 minutes early, the world would be pretty good. And then a few more days later, I'm thinking, well, what about if I'm pulling into my parking space? That's pretty close. And then it became, what if I'm pulling into the driveway? And then I noticed as I'm driving on I-40 on my way here, I'm calculating how many miles over the speed limit I could drive to get here 5 minutes early. Now think about this. No one knows I'm doing this. The world is pretty happy if I show up 4 minutes early. I'm not showing this to anything. The only conversation here is me and my ego, and now I'm calculating if I can drive unsafely on I-40 so that I can make my little check marks on my little sheet that no one else is gonna see look good. And I realize, oh my gosh, this is a really powerful practice. This is this mirror of my very tortured ego that I didn't even know existed. And so I found this really insightful. It told me about myself. It told me about how my actions impact others around me in a very clear way. And so I highly recommend it. For right now, Nick, our wonderful engineer, is going to show folks at home. You're going to see a little picture of a mindfulness spreadsheet. And folks here in the Dharma Hall, there'll be some empty ones on the table in the porch. You're welcome to grab on your way out. Now that we've told you about this and we've gone through it, I thought, let's do a sample together using Legos. So we're going to create a spreadsheet with Legos. And the way it's going to work is we're going to use little gold ones, like gold stars, like, yay, good job. And we're going to use red ones, like, don't do that, okay? And the example I'm going to use is from my life. So my beloved spouse and I have known each other for 45 years. And you might imagine that over that time, my responses to my spouse sometimes are a little more curt, a little more short, eye rolling may be involved. And this is not helping my spouse feel loved and cared for. And I truly love my beloved spouse. And at the same time, it's feeding my judging mind, my reactive mind. It's not helping me embrace gratitude. So that's my goal. I'm going to speak with just love and care to my spouse. So let's start. Okay, day one. I've got my good intention, and I got, okay, like 2 times I did really well. I got 3 that I was unmindful and, yeah, sure, honey, and rolled my eyes. So not bad, clearly room for improvement. So let's do the next day and see what happens. So the next day, let's say I do better. Now, I did 3 good ones, and I only kind of messed up twice. Okay, not bad. I can see some improvement. As I go along, I'm going to see fluctuations of days. And that's going to be normal. I'm going to be paying attention, doing my best. But what if I come up with a day like this and a day like this? Okay, so does this mean I've become like this horrible, nasty person? Did I have a horrible day? Maybe. Or it could be that I've just become more observant. And in fact, this day is really what my beloved spouse experiences more than this day, right? But I've had some practice, and so I'm now a little more observant. Okay, that's fine. So what if we're tooling along, and then there's a day that looks like this blank space in here. Nothing. I got nothing. Was it because I got lazy? Was it because I didn't care? Or maybe my spouse went on a fishing trip that day. Or maybe we were just ships passing in the night. It was just a neutral day. The question is not what is on here, but using this as a tool to ask myself, what does this mean? What's going on? Inquiry is really an important part of our practice, and that's a way to do this. Now, what I'm hoping I'll see over time are a lot more days that look like this. Which would be great, but the question then becomes, once I've started, how do I know when to stop? Good question. Well, that is the question. So it could be that I just see a series of days that things are going well. They may not always be perfect, but they're looking pretty stable. That might be a time that I evaluate what I'm doing, and if I'm feeling reasonably confident that I have my judging mind has decreased, my gratitude has increased, my spouse is in fact experiencing my care for him, that okay, maybe there's something else that I want to do, I see. But what if it doesn't look like this? What if instead it's just this sea of red? You know, that's just like, not great, right? Well, does that mean I just started out with a good intention and now I've just become a miserable human being to live with? Maybe. But it also could mean that maybe what I chose wasn't really appropriate, wasn't going to work well. So if my initial goal had been every time my beloved spouse opens his mouth, that I will drop what I'm doing and stand in front of him and gaze admiringly into his face, this isn't realistic. It's not helpful. So use whatever the results are to just keep asking yourself those questions. So here's a final thought. All of this mindfulness tracking is a very human endeavor focused on a very human life. And perhaps that's the point. By using the rare gift of our human life as material for practice, we create a powerful mirror that perfectly reflects our mind-boggling ego and gives us the tools to liberate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. I love that talk. This is the second time I've heard it. And as a scientist and a teacher, I love data and I love numbers and and I'm testing myself, like, do I really know this? Or am I really succeeding? And so it's great. Do I do it? No. But like Kathleen keeps reminding me, it's like your practice will improve if you keep track of it. Don't be willy-nilly, be data-driven. And so I'm going to try again. I'll go home and make my little chart and I'll start fresh. And I hope you guys will too. So before we break off for conversation, let's all just pause, maybe think about one thing that pops into your head that you could work on and you could collect data on. All right. So now's the time for friends at home. If you would like to leave your thoughts in the chat or something, your plans to work on. And then friends here in the Dharma Hall, please pair up with 1, 2, 3 friends and talk about Kathleen's talk and your plans.
Just take photos and go. Sorry.
Wow, a very active, vibrant conversation. Now, you know, when your children or grandchildren play with the Lego and they're tired of it, you can use it for your practice. How are you doing, Henry, today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Henry came to our children's camp. You were, I think, age 7 or something. And then he's been coming our children's camp every single year, and then now joining our teen retreat. Yesterday, Henry, traveled together to Raleigh for our Qi Gong workshop. And on our way, we talk about Henry becoming a 교모님 in the future. So this is what we conversed. He's gonna finish his high school and study psychology and go to Won Institute for that master's course, and will be ordained. That's our master plan. What do you think?
It's very, very complicated process, but it seems like something that would be worth going for.
Yes. So, well, you can change your mind tomorrow. Yeah, but when we talk about with excitement and joy, actually, when Henry came to our children's camp, very first year, I was thinking, wow, Henry can be a wonderful 교모님 Dharma teacher in the future. That's how I feel. I'm so glad Henry is still here with us, and then he's helping with our camera. And So happy to see you again growing up.
Happy to be here.
He was a little boy, all grown up like this. What's your one takeaway from today's practice here, Sunday morning? I
think that keeping a journal or any type of, memorizing the amount of mindfulness we use on a daily basis, it's something that would be helpful to keep for the whole family, so that we can work together more and be a team within the house.
Wow, Katie, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know exactly what he's thinking.
Oh, wonderful. Mom said she knows exactly what Henry is talking about. Any friends first time here today? Please raise your hand. Wow, we see 4 hands raising up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we have an announcement by Kelly and Nate.
We do. How wonderful it has been to practice with all of you today. For more meditation, you may join us here at the Chapel Hill Temple every day or any day, including Sunday morning at 6:30 a.m. for early meditation. This is a great way to set the tone for the day. Everyone is welcome. And I want to say I'm here almost every morning at 6:30 a.m. And the days that it's the best time are the nights I don't sleep well. And I wake up with all these stories about what kind of day I'm going to have. And it is really helpful to have an hour to sit with those stories and say, I don't believe you.
Thank you, Nate. That's inspiring. I'm not a morning person. But I do have sleepless nights. We are always grateful for your generous support of our temple. And on your way out, you'll notice there's an offering table in the middle. And if you'd like to make a cash donation, we have little donation slips. You can fill it out. And this way we can also track your donations. And at the end of the year, you'll get an accurate year-end tax receipt.
On March 8th, our intro class to Buddhism and Won Buddhism, comparing them, still has a couple of available spaces. This class will be held in person Saturday afternoon, 2 to 4:30 p.m. at the Chapel Hill Temple. Over the 12 years I've been coming here, I would say I've probably done this class 5 times. The last time was a year ago, and I thought, what am I going to do? I've been to this class so many times. I got so much, it was like, oh, finally I get it. Huh?
Okay, he's a hard act to follow.
I'm a hard case.
Our half-day spring retreat on March 22nd also has a few registration spots available. To sign up, you can go to the website, or you can use this QR code that has a picture of the Raleigh Temple on it.
Summer youth camps. Our week-long children's summer camp will be held in June. My granddaughter loved it. She tried to teach the 4-year-old twins how to meditate. A 3-day overnight retreat for teens will be held in August. Information flyers are available in the foyer, also on our website, as well as in your inbox if you receive our community email.
And next Saturday, we'll have our monthly teen meditation gathering at 3 p.m., which will include a forest meditation walk.
Raleigh Temple. This afternoon at 4 p.m., you are invited to Qi Gong meditation at our North Raleigh Temple. All are welcome.
Now, let us turn to page 13 in our chanting booklet and bless each other with the morning prayer song.
Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace, I begin a new day in your presence. Today full of health and with peace of mind, may along the path of the Buddha. Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace. I begin a new day with your grace. Today, gratefully and with gentle words, may I live in harmony with all those I meet. Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace. I begin a new day with compassion. Today, making the world a more loving place. May I do all that I can for one world.
Thank you, online friends who join us practicing together, waving hands to our online friends. See you next week. Here, before